And until we do that, then we are going to remain in the grip of a fairly nefarious bunch of bankers, real bankers. You know, so it's perhaps trying to subvert that whole mechanism that the state, globalists, whatever term you want to use, trying to subvert that a bit by going underneath and creating a direct link to these intelligences that are undoubtedly out there. And that, you know, can we create a series of something that's repeatable that we can take from group to group and perhaps empower people on a local level. So yeah, I put that. I even mentioned UFO community programming, because well, within the UFO community, you've got ideas, of course, of what, you know, what contact should be, what communication should be. Should you even be trying to communicate at all? Should you just be putting marks on a blackboard about how many UFOs are spotted? You know, everyone's got their own idea of that, and I think this whole idea of night vision. I think we go on to that in a minute. The whole idea of the night vision thing is that you've got a process by which you shortcut all of this stuff, all of this noise to do with what contact is. The whole night vision thing, to me, you shortcut that because you have a direct connection in one way by viewing that object. You have a direct connection to these entities, and the communication, of course, comes after. If you've spotted something, you can start some form of communication with it. So the scale, I mean, people will have heard, of course, of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, because, of course, that's based on the film. But this was actually, yeah, we're cutting things off here. This is at the top. The title was this is the Alan Hynek scale. So Alan Hynek was a researcher from the sort of 50s and 60s, and he developed this scale. Stephen Greer claims he added the C5 on, but I don't think he did. Someone else, I'm pretty sure, there's a guy called Richard Haynes wrote a book, I think before Greer bought this, but Greer's adopted this term. Stephen Greer is the guy that did the Disclosure Project, and also CSETI, which we're basing some of this sort of experience on at the moment. So you can see the list there, they're just forms of contact. And the fifth one is important because, of course, it suddenly shifts everything from this contact where sort of UFOs are at the centre to it's a human-initiated contact. So it's the whole idea that you use various bits of technology and your own consciousness to beckon in or vector these ET craft and these entities into some sort of communication. Even I want everyone to try and read this in the space we've got after here. This is the CSETI Working Group Manual, and you know, as much as you can take this as some sort of example of what to do and not to be taken too literally, then this will even tell you the idea of what to do if a craft lands, how to approach that sort of thing. And some of that's based on Greer's experience. They have had stuff happen that is based on Greer's experience. It's just he's quite strict about who can do that. He's got his whole hierarchy of ambassadors and who should go forward and stuff. So it's pretty convoluted, but that is certainly worth a read as regards what could happen and what possible avenues you can take. So yeah, we've mentioned contact can take many forms. All right, okay. There's the. I don't know if I can move this, shrink this screen. That's the CSETI logo. So that's the one that appeared in a crop circle. That was in England. That was in Britain, wasn't it? So there were again crop circle land over here. That was over here. That's James Gilliland's ESETI, another version of that goes from Trout Lake in Washington, and they have tremendous results with stuff that they do, and their contact is a bit less structured than Greer's. Their sort of method for that. They're basically near a huge trout lake, near a huge mountain, which seems to be some sort of UFO base. You can go on YouTube and you can see the stuff that happens at the ranch there, but they have regular contact with these discs that literally flash. They're called power-ups.
Yeah, it's Oregon.
Is it Washington? Yeah.
Near Washington.
Washington,
State,
yeah, Washington State, yeah. This Trout Lake it's called, I think. I don't know whether Mount Rainier, I think. Is it Mount Rainier?
You got Mount Shasta, Mount Adams, actually.
Mount Adams, right. It's Adams, yeah.
Been there.
Oh, right, oh, yeah. And it seems that Mount Adams is some sort of base for this thing.
It glows. It glows.
Right.
Literally, green glows.
The mountain glows?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen some things not come out of Mount Adams, away from Mount Adams. Yeah, it is amazing there.
I'd love to go. I can't go to the USA, but I'd love to go over and see that because I've seen craft that seem to apparently disappear into the mountain. But on top of that, on the C5 level, the craft then come over where it gets. How many people were there when you went there? Because it seems like 100 people a weekend there at the moment.
No, I think there's about 4 of us.
Oh right, depends
yeah,
when
we've got a lot of workers that work there.
Right,
you know,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
You've got obviously Mount Shasta, which is very close, and obviously that's where a lot of people remote view.
Right.
And that's a lot of ET stuff there. But
Yeah.
you know, in the line of three, as you're flying over, you can see all three of them coming out of the clouds, the mountains. It's lovely.
And did you have because they do this communication that if you flash.
I had an experience there, yeah.
Yeah, but this the whole idea that they will flash and pulsate according. So if you do 3 flashes with a laser or a powerful flashlight, you'll get three pulses back. Yeah. Oh, right. So you can get some sort of direct contact as well, some sort of feeling or mind contact. All of which is the same sort of thing. Is that what you're saying?
It is. Yeah. Didn't need any of the lights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, but that's where it's all, isn't it, different for everyone, and that's where I was interested in your experience as a contactee, because you already know what contact is like. You know, do you enter some sort of weird parallel universe? Does it feel any different? So most of us don't sort of know that, and it's trying to find out, well, how do we take an experience like yours and sort of build it into the group, and so you can help other people discover, is there a set feeling to that? Is there some sort of voice in your head that happens when that sort of takes over? So that's all the sort of thing and you're saying that's sort of thing that happened at Gimp James.
Yeah, James, what do you want me to say? What happened? James had gone in, right, it's called the Field of Dreams, basically. You've got Mount Adams in front of you. And it's a lovely sort of communal place, lots of people working there over the summertime. And I went with my ex-partner Lauren, and basically we're in the Field of Dreams, and it was in the early part of the evening. James had just gone off to go and do his radio interview. And one of the workers had come up and said, you know, this is where people see a lot of orbs and things and can have communication in the air, and they do have the lights and everything. And I chose not to use anything like that, obviously, because intentionally they know and I know that we're all there for a reason. Wherever you could be, you can, you know, go to the supermarket, you can ask for something, can't you? And boom, that's where you find something. And we were outside, sitting outside, and then you've got the Mount Adams in front of us, and like I said to you, it was what we saw, what reminded me of like green crystals, sort of like a moldavite green, you know, just sparkling, just blinking. You'd think, like, you see things like that, did I just see that? Wow. Because no one could walk up to there, no one could get a car up there or anything. And then, you know, you carry on talking and catches you again, and that's where people are saying it's like a gateway of energy can go in and out. And so busy talking, and then all of a sudden, where you've got Mount Adams, all of a sudden to the side of it, to the right side, just this big, massive orange orb just totally appeared, huge, right next to it. And I'm like, and then it starts moving. It's moving in a straight line, and then intuitively I said, see that star over there? It's going to go into that star over there. And then you're thinking, then you doubt, you're doubting yourself, but you've got to go by the first thing you said, because you're generally kind of right. And going in a straight line, you just went to that star, and you just blinked, went to the star, like on top, piggybacked on top of it, and just boom, out. It's like, what? Okay, that's clever, that's spooky, you know, all the stars that you see out there. And then no sooner we said that again, I said, it's going to be another one. And in the same place where the first orange one was, just went again, and I said, it's going to go back into the other one. He went straight in where the other star was, and one of the workers was there with us out there, and he went, never seen anything like that. In all of the things that they had seen, he said that was absolutely remarkable. You know, and it was, because that experience was different yet again to all of the others. So to me, it's another learning experience. When I look at the stars now, I just think, oh, you know, they are very, very clever up there, what they can do. So yeah, East Skywatch, I'd totally safe for anybody to go there. I mean, but you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere. But that was great.
Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing. Is like, is the because you know, we talk about things that are also on ley lines, that UFOs seem to like energy lines of the around the globe. So is it? We could find this out by probably doing a couple of weekends here. So is how much does human consciousness acting as an attractor actually work for this sort of thing? So because the Mount Adams area has been known as, like Mount Shasta, has been known for these
Oregon
discs.
itself. I mean, you've got a huge. I'm heavily into Bigfoot. You've got huge Sasquatch, you know, people that have witnessed. So it's no different than seeing, you know, a UFO, you know, experiencer. Well, they're Bigfoot experiences. you know, a heck of a lot of energy there. And I went to a military base just outside, it's McMinnville, where they have the big UFO fest every year. And I went there with what I call Bigfoot Andy and Lauren again, and in the woods, and they have a lot of military training in the woods, and blackberry picking we were, picking the blackberries, eating the blackberries, quite happy as Larry's, and all of a sudden this all just came over our head and just flew over. I was like, okay. It's like a drone type of thing, and then we saw 2 or 3 of them, and then on my Facebook page I've got a picture of me and Bigfoot Andy, absolutely pickled with orbs all around us. You know, it was excellent. Yeah. Oregon's a place to go.
Yeah, I suppose it's specifically if those areas are really known for sightings. So say the Mount Adams, Manchester. But the point is, if say this area around us isn't particularly known for that, then can we generate? So do we prove therefore that consciousness can act as a magnet to invite these entities and these UFOs in by the fact that we do a couple of weekends worth of this sort of experience and this meditation, this remote viewing, this sort of thing, these protocols, it's proving that those work. Because I suppose James Gilliland could be onto a good thing, that he doesn't actually need to do any of these things because these things are zipping out round about anyway. I still think that to then communicate with these things, then you would need some sort of system. You need a group of people, of course, that were interested and had the intent that they wanted to do that. But that's the thing. So Glastonbury around here, or near to here, is known for its ley lines. So I don't know what sort of things that attracts, but it's making that whole thing to are there regular UFO flight paths, or can consciousness actually act as a magnet to these things? And of course, Greer would say that you vector in these things, you send your message out. He says, a few hours beforehand, you send out your vectored, you send out your vectored thought, and literally the way he does it, he gets the whole group to literally imagine the Milky Way. Then you imagine the Earth, and you zoom down, and each time you go to a deeper magnification level to the point where you zoom right in on the UK, England, and then in this case down on the southwest, and you keep sending that out, and that's what they pick up on. So again, it's whether that whole process works.
But David, isn't it? I want to say Ken Phillips, but it's not Ken Phillips. On that sort of era of people, you had down Cornwall Way. What's his name? He did basically have a timetable of when you could see UFOs.
Who's that? Because that's interesting. Because there's Alan T. Greenfield does that. So there's another guy called Bruce Cafe does that. Who's called?
He's really old school.
The French guy.
Sorry.
The French guy.
No.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and look at home. He used to be a very good friend of Kev Phillips. He used to run Bufora, and he was at there was DVDs for sale on him at your conference a couple of years ago, and I was amazed that he was still doing it. I'll have to think of the name, but that's what he does. He basically has worked out timelines of windows when you do see them.
Right. The Kevin guy you just mentioned is from
Ken Phillips.
Ken Phillips?
Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. It's not.
Yeah, Ken Phillips used to run
Before, right, okay.
So a bit like a weather report.
Kind of was. Yeah.
The frequency, Tuesday night's the best night.
As bizarre as that sounds.
As bizarre as it sounds, and Wednesday night's the worst.
Well, I'll go back to my sightings and have a look at this thing.
This is from this document, so I just whittled down these views. I'm going to read these out, and this is the sort of thing you should be, I suppose, thinking about tonight, because this is all about the whole word is, of course, intention, and intention over expectation. So it's sort of not letting expectation that you will see something rule over your intention it's sort of that whole idea of having some. Which is quite hard for us as egotistical human beings to have some sort of purity of thought as regards this whole thing. Especially, I'll point out, if you, of course, listen to the whole thing about grey teas abducting and doing various things sexually with people, all this sort of stuff that you've heard about ETs, that a lot of which seems to be military disinformation. If you go back to the 50s and 60s, none of this was going on. It was all very much human-like ETs that were having contact, and that's changed very much in the 80s. When Whitley Strieber, of course, came out with his book, then things changed rapidly, and so it's quite hard for us to have this sort of thing. But I think you can shove all that thing to a side for a moment and try and have this. You try and get to this attitude of having some sort of intention that's not fear-based, to try and get this thing moving. So